नमस्कार दोस्तों। स्वागत है आप सबका सहोदर यूट्यूब लाइव के एक अलग ही तरह की मीटिंग में। बहुत से लोगों के बहुत से सजेशंस आए। लोगों ने कहा कि इस मीटिंग को जूम पे रखना चाहिए जिससे कि सब लोग आमने सामने बात कर सकें। तो मैं सबको बता देता हूँ कि सहोदर ने लॉकडाउन शुरू होने के बाद 2 हफ्ते जूम मीटिंग्स की हैं। हमने प्रयास ये भी किया कि इसमें लिमिट किया जाए करीब 20 से 25 लोगों को, पर और फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस पे ही किया जाए, पर वह मीटिंग सक्सेसफुल नहीं हो पाई। उसकी बहुत बड़ी वजह ये थी कि बहुत से लोग एक साथ बोलना शुरू कर देते थे, तो प्रॉपर स्पेसिंग नहीं हो पाती थी। और दूसरा, जब एक आदमी बात कर रहा है तो दूसरा भी बोलने लगता था, तो कुछ मैं म्यूट करना नहीं चाहता था सबको, तो उसकी यही मेन मुद्दा रहा। यूट्यूब लाइव पे एक अन्य फ़ायदा ये भी है कि यूट्यूब लाइव बाद में भी अवेलेबल रहता है। लोग अपने सवाल का जवाब वगैरह भी समझ में नहीं आया है तो बाद में जाकर देख सकते हैं। तो ये सब सोचते हुए हम अभी इस यूट्यूब लाइव पर ही कंटिन्यू करेंगे सहोदर मीटिंग्स को। रही बात कल का सेशन बहुत ही अमेजिंग था। हमारी हिस्ट्री में सबसे ज़्यादा लोग एक साथ कल की मीटिंग में ही शामिल हुए थे। कभी इससे पहले 400 का आंकड़ा हमारी मीटिंग में क्रॉस नहीं हुआ था। कल पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि हमारी मीटिंग में 400 से अधिक लोग जुड़े थे। तो ये एक अच्छी बात है, पर इसके साथ एक छोटी-सी दिक्कत ये भी है कि इतने सारे सवाल एक लिमिटेड समय में लेना संभव नहीं है। आइडियाज़ आ रहे हैं कि मीटिंग का समय बहुत लंबा है, 1 घंटा नहीं होना चाहिए, 40-45 मिनट होना चाहिए। रादर आधा घंटा होना चाहिए। तो जिसको देखते हुए कल की मीटिंग हमने 45 मिनट रखने की कोशिश की थी। फिलहाल इसको ऐसे ही चला रहे हैं जब तक लॉकडाउन है, तब उसके बाद की स्थितियाँ देखेंगे। दिल्ली वालों से मेरी गुजारिश यही होगी कि आप वीकली मीटिंग्स में आएँ, अपने सवाल वहीं पूछें, और बाकी लोग जो हैं वो यूट्यूब लाइव में आकर अपने सवाल पूछें। तो अब अगले सीधे सवालों पर चलते हैं। सबसे पहला सवाल मैं ले रहा हूँ अनुज जी का। अनुज जी का एक क्वेश्चन है। उनका क्वेश्चन है, हेलो सर, माय क्वेश्चन इज कैन वाइफ आस्क फॉर residence orders under DV Act if she is receiving 65,000 per month as salary and also getting HRA? Should I stay separately from my parents? I don't want her to enter into my parents' house forcibly. So now, Anuj, first of all, if she is getting HRA, at least there is one Delhi High Court judgment which supports your cause, which says that if a woman is getting HRA, and HRA means house rent allowance from her company or her employer, then the same amount should be utilized for paying rent by the lady. However, there are other judgments also in which, despite HRA, right of residence has been provided. Essentially, I'll like to say that it is how you argue a particular case would determine what kind of results you get in such case. Now, coming to, you don't want her to enter into your parents' house forcibly. Your parents can seek injunction against her and her relatives from entering their suit property. I am given to believe that this house is belongs to your parents only, and you have no right or title or interest in this particular property. Only if there is this situation that you don't have any title or interest in this property matching, then only the injunction can be granted to your parents, and they can restrain her from entering the suit property. Now I'll take questions which has come yesterday on WhatsApp. One question from WhatsApp, and this question is from Amul Shekhawat, who is from Gurgaon. I think the phone is little slow because of over 16,000 connects. So please wait. इनका सवाल है, अमूल शेखावत जी का सवाल है, सर मेरा ससुर मेरी वाइफ को मेरे घर पर नहीं आने दे रहा है। मेरा ससुर अभी जेल से 42 दिन की छुट्टी पर आया हुआ है। वह बोल रहा है कि मैं 2-3 महीने की जमानत पर आऊंगा, फिर तुम लोगों के साथ रहकर देखूंगा कि आपकी बन रही है या नहीं बन रही है। क्या मैं उसके विरुद्ध पुलिस में एफआईआर दर्ज करा सकता हूँ? और दूसरा सवाल ये है, सर कैन मैन फाइल 498 अगेंस्ट वुमेन? तो ये एक बेसिक सवाल है। कैन मैन फाइल 498 ए केस अगेंस्ट अ वुमन? नहीं, अ मैन कैन नॉट फाइल अ 498 ए केस अगेंस्ट हिज वाइफ। अपनी वाइफ के खिलाफ 498 ए का मुकदमा कोई भी आदमी दर्ज नहीं करा सकता। 498 की डेफिनेशन अगर हम पढ़ें तो यह समझ जाएंगे कि एक ब्याहता स्त्री अपने पति या उसके घर वालों के खिलाफ ही यह मुकदमा दर्ज करा सकती है। रही बात आपका ससुर आपकी बीवी को आपके घर में ही आने दे रहा है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप दोनों के बीच में कोई विवाद है, क्योंकि अगले ही पैराग्राफ में आपने लिखा है कि वह कह रहा है कि जब वह जमानत पर आएगा तब वह आपके साथ रहकर देखेगा कि आपके बीच में बन क्यों नहीं रही। तो ऐसी स्थिति में जब आपकी और आपकी बीवी की अच्छे से नहीं बनती है, आप उसे क्यों लाना चाहते हैं जब तक कि मसले रिजोल्व ना हो जाएं? बाकी इसमें कोई एफआईआर जैसी स्थिति तो नहीं बनती है, पर अगर आपकी बीवी को ज़बरदस्ती उसने अपने घर पे रखा हुआ है, आपकी बीवी आना चाहती है, आप उसे लाना चाहते हैं, तो एक हबियस कॉर्पस की एप्लीकेशन इसमें दाखिल हो सकती है। पर वह दाखिल करने से पहले मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगा कि आप डिसाइड कर लें कि आप ऐसी औरत को वापस लाना भी चाहते हैं या नहीं लाना चाहते। I am taking a next question from a person by the screen name Wrong Victim. And the question is, sir, my wife filed wrong complaint against me and my family of domestic violence and dowry. She is too inclined towards her sister who works in women and child welfare and family. My wife is an abusive and violent lady. Earlier also I brought her by compromise and she even came, but now I don't want her to come back to our house as I find her threat to me and my family. Uh, my dear friend, who is asking you to bring such woman back? She has filed a complaint, and I understand that it is a false complaint of domestic violence and dowry. But please don't be scared of these cases. I repeat, don't be scared of these cases. These false cases are filed by multiple women against multiple men, and you are not alone against whom a false complaint has been filed. The only reason these women succeed in arm twisting you is because you get frightened and you bring her back by accepting the conditions which she is laying over you. So, if these conditions are not met, the maximum you will have to do is fight one case. However, if you bring her back, she'll try to rule you, she'll try to impose herself upon you. So I don't know under which circumstances you want her back, but if she is a serial complainant, I don't think that you should bring her back. Next question I am taking from WhatsApp, and it is from a person by the name Prabhu Pada Panda from Katak. And the question is, I think my phone is a bit slow, so yes. His question is, sir, great effort by you for agreed people like us. I got married in 2015. Wife BTech but not working. Left home in 2017. Filed 125 at Odisha in 2018 based on false allegations that we asking for dowry, etc. Now she is doing fashion design course at her parental place and want me to pay fee. That is 4.55 lakhs. What to do? Should I pay fee? Will it help in any ways? Now interim cases on and how to deny interim maintenance on what grounds? Sir, is it a fact that the judge approves interim maintenance first and then allows the 125 case to continue further? So there are a lot of questions. I'll answer one by one. Number one, if she is asking for 4.5 lakh rupees for doing a fashion designing course, I don't think that is a small amount by any stretch of imagination. I don't know your income, you have not mentioned. The case is in Orissa, and most of the Orissa, I doubt that any judge will grant her this kind of maintenance what she is asking from you, or 4.5 lakh rupees for a particular course. I doubt that any judge will grant in Orissa except maybe in a state, in a city of Bhubaneswar or one or two more cities. The rest of the places, no judge is going to grant this much amount. Now, coming to whether the judge approves interim maintenance first and then allows the 125 case to continue, yes, that is the case. That is how 125 cases are run. The complete procedure or the process is listed on my website. You can go and see what are the steps in this. And interim maintenance will be decided first, and then only uh, the main case will continue. After evidence, only the final maintenance will be decided or rejected by the Honorable Court. You have asked an additional question, and it is not related to your cases. It is, should I be talking to her on WhatsApp and phone calls, or shall I meet her? Will it affect my case merit? Please advise. Thank you. Now, as I understand, the woman has left your house in 2017. That is, 3 years have already elapsed since she left. If you are not talking till now, what is the reason of talking now? What solutions you are expecting by talking to her when the case is already running for nearly 2 years? Rest, I don't know what are your emotions toward your wife, and you are free to, talk to her if your emotions bind you. Considering, if I were in your place, and I can only answer this question in this light only, if I were in your place, I will not talk to such women any longer, be it on WhatsApp, be it on personal meeting, or be it through phone calls. Once the cases are in court, it is not my relative who has filed a case, it is not my wife who has filed a case, it is an enemy action, and the enemy action has to be met like an enemy action only. I am taking a question from a person by the name Kumar Reddy, screen name Kumar Reddy. His question is, can she charge me with Istridhan robbery if I reoccupy my own flat in Bangalore left by her willingly to stay with her parents in Chennai, as I lost my job due to her complaint at my office? Divorce case filed by me at Mumbai. I lost job due to her complaint at office. What do I need to submit in court to reduce or avoid maintenance? She is a software engineer and I have those work proofs. Uh, my property documents are stolen by her. We are living separately for last 3 years due to her false rape of daughter charges on me. That is POXO. So, Kumar Reddy, if the lady and the child is not staying in that particular flat, and that particular flat has been locked by her and she has left to Chennai, though there is a certain likelihood that she'll charge you about for theft, because robbery requires a concentrated effort of four or more people. So she can definitely charge you with theft, but as she has already charged you with POXO and other cases, so I doubt that this is going to be a big case for you. Still, I would say that you should seek a court order to reoccupy this particular flat. As she is earning and you have lost the job, you have her work proofs. She'll not get any maintenance in the divorce case. However, the child maintenance has to be borne by you as well as her. It will depend upon the circumstances, how much child support is you are burdened with, and how much child support she is asked to provide. I'll take next question from Sanjay Kumar Panigrahi. The screen name is Sanjay Kumar Panigrahi. At the time of mutual divorce in 2010, she was a teacher. In 2017, she filed for maintenance after her removal by school in 2016. The interim maintenance was disallowed by court. The case is pending. What should I do? Now, Sanjay, this question was raised in the last meeting as well. That was yesterday. And the question was almost on the similar line. Can she seek maintenance even after mutual consent divorce? And I had replied that though she can, the law allows her to seek maintenance. However, in certain cases, in these kind of cases, in these kinds of circumstances, the courts normally don't provide any interim maintenance. Only the court have to be set only after being satisfied that there is a drastic change in circumstances and there is a genuine need of maintenance to prevent starvation, or someone may say or use a word vagrancy, then only the maintenance can be granted. And even if the maintenance is granted, it will not be of the similar nature which is granted without divorce. So you are already on the right track. Your interim maintenance has been dismissed. Congratulations about it. Now you should contest the case and try to prove to the court that she is not serious about finding a job. For last 3 years, she is not doing anything, and based on that, you should deny the final maintenance award as well. I hope you are satisfied with it. Because you have not mentioned your salary or what you do, I have answered only what I could fathom from your question. I am taking another question from the WhatsApp, and this question is from a person by the name Saurabh Arora. I'm sorry. So Saurabh is from Delhi. His question is, sir, in Delhi, what if 377 354B is clubbed with 498A and 406? Will the husband and his relatives get arrested immediately, or 41A notice will be served to join the investigation? And what are the chances of getting anticipatory bail? So Saurabh, it is a common practice in Delhi to allege sexual offences along with 498 and 406. The reason is that in plain 498 and 406, Delhi High Court has restricted or restrained police from arresting the accused. That is why an additional or a sexual offence is added. That is 377. In Delhi, there is a chance of arrest in 377, so you should move for anticipatory bail as and when your mediation has failed and you are sure that now the FIR will be registered. Normally, court will grant interim bail or a notice bail in this scenario, and the police will serve you notice that they want to arrest you to interrogate you. At that time, you have to apply for anticipatory bail once again, and that is the mechanism and the way how 377 and 354 cases are dealt with in Delhi. There is a likelihood of arrest, so don't assume that 41A notice will come to you in 377. Even if it comes, the police is well within their right to arrest you once you go to join investigation. There is a question from a screen name by the name Shakti Singh Jhala. In my DV case running in MH, that is Maharashtra, my wife written one statement in DV petition saying her father paid dowry of rupees 1 lakh to respondent number 1. How this statement on affidavit can be used as giving dowry is also a crime. In SR Batra versus Tarun Batra case, Supreme Court held that wife cannot ask for residence right against in-law. Does this applicable to property which was earlier owned by husband that later on gifted to his sister before any litigation process was started? So Shashikant has two questions. One is about DP3, which is kind of one of the very favorite subjects of men's rights. Everybody wants to file counter cases of Dowry Prohibition Act. However, there is no success story in Dowry Prohibition Act cases. I have not seen even a single case in which conviction has occurred. Neither I have seen many FIRs in it. I have personally never advised anybody for filing Dowry Prohibition Act Section 3 case. Now coming to your question that once the property which was owned by you have gifted without consideration to your sister, In this case, the lady can go for cancellation of this gift deed, because if she is able to prove to the court that the same was done to avoid giving any residence right to her. And there are precedents about it, especially from Madras High Court and Andhra Pradesh High Courts, in which such gift deeds have been termed in or invalidated or have been termed illegal by the courts, and the courts have held that it was solely done to deny right of residence to the woman, and that is why this gift deed does not hold any good. So please understand that if she does that, it will be detrimental to you. However, till the title is with your sister, the court will not grant any right of residence to this woman in that particular property. Now there is a question which has come repeatedly, couple of times before also. There is a gentleman who is fighting multiple litigation. Now he wants to have a live-in with his beloved. His question is, what precautions should he take that live-in goes peacefully? And second is, can he give name as father to the baby from that beloved? Uh, Now, my dear friend, if I knew a way how to make a relationship work, I would have been a millionaire. No jokes about it. I don't know how a relationship can work 100%. Uh, if you and your beloved are at good terms and you feel you are confident enough that you will lead a good life in living, go ahead, do it. It is more about a question of faith which you have in the other person, in the nature of the other person, that will determine whether this relationship will succeed or not. And that faith, respect, and love is reciprocated or not. However, if you are under any pressure from this woman at this point of time, then I would be saying that it is a warning sign and you should heed to it and not stay with this woman anymore. Coming to whether you can give name of your own to the child, yet unborn child, yes, you can do that. Maximum your wife can seek divorce on the grounds of alimony. It is not a crime to stay with someone else when you are interested in staying with someone else. I am taking a question from a person by the name, by the screen name Uday Sen 2000, and the question is: CDR obtained some other source can use as evidence in court. Is it legal? Uh, उदय जी, मेरे ख्याल से आपका सवाल यह है कि आपने जो कॉल डेटा डिटेल रिकॉर्ड्स किसी और सोर्स से ऑब्टेन की हैं, यानी लीगली ऑब्टेन नहीं की हैं, क्या ये एविडेंस की तरह कोर्ट में प्रयोग की जा सकती हैं? क्या ये लीगल है? तो इस बात के दो जवाब हैं। आप इस बात को पूरी तरह समझ लीजिए, पूरी बात को सुनिए और समझिए। पहली बात, किसी की भी सीडीआर, अपनी सीडीआर भी आपके पोजेशन में आना जो कि लेजिटिमेट सोर्स से नहीं आई है, यानी आपको कोर्ट ने ही प्रोवाइड नहीं किया है या पुलिस अफसरों ने ही प्रोवाइड नहीं किया आपसे केस से रिलेटेड ही, अपने आप में एक क्राइम है। पोजेशन इटसेल्फ इज अ क्राइम। आपके पास किसी की सीडीआर होना अपने आप में एक क्राइम है जो आपने इलीगली ऑब्टेन की है। फिर भी आपका कहना है कि मैंने इलीगली कोई चीज ऑब्टेन कर ली है, क्या मैं इसको एज अ एविडेंस कोर्ट में प्रयोग कर सकता हूँ? आप इसको एज अ एविडेंस कोर्ट में प्रयोग कर सकते हैं। जिस कोर्ट में आप इन सीडीआर को प्रयोग कर रहे हैं वो कंसर्न नहीं है आपने इसे कैसे ऑब्टेन किया है। इसकी सत्यता की जांच के लिए कोर्ट दोबारा से वही सीडीआर मंगा सकता है सर्विस प्रोवाइडर से, पर इस तरह के इलीगल काम करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है। अगर आपको सीडीआर किसी की चाहिए भी और आपको जेन्युइन रिक्वायरमेंट है, केस को इफेक्ट करती हैं वो सीडीआर, तो आप एक एप्लीकेशन कोर्ट के अंदर लगा सकते हैं। इलीगल काम मत कीजिए। आप कोर्ट के अंदर ही एक एप्लीकेशन लगा सकते हैं कि फलाने फलाने नंबर की सीडीआर प्रिजर्व की जाएं और इस कोर्ट में प्रोड्यूस की जाएं। कोर्ट अधिकतर समय में आपको अगर जेन्युइन रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती है एनालिसिस करने के लिए कॉपी भी प्रोवाइड कर सकता है, और ऐसा हुआ है दिल्ली कोर्ट्स में, ऐसा हुआ है गुड़गांव कोर्ट्स में, ऐसा हुआ है फरीदाबाद कोर्ट में, जहाँ पे इस तरह की एप्लीकेशन मैंने लगवाई हैं लोगों से, तो ऐसा हुआ है यहाँ पे। तो आप इलीगल काम क्यों करना चाहते हैं? ऐसा ना हो कि हम एक केस से बचने के लिए एक इलीगल काम कर रहे हैं, इस केस से तो बच जाए पर उस वजह से जो केस हम पर पड़े उसमें हमें सजा हो जाए, उसमें हमें हानि हो जाए, उसमें हमें नुकसान हो जाए। इस तरह की चीज़ें नहीं करनी चाहिए। मेरी कम से कम यही एडवाइस होगी। हालांकि अगर आपने किसी सोर्स से सीडीआर ऑब्टेन कर ली है, आपने अपना एनालिसिस कर लिया है, तो दुनिया को बताने की क्या ज़रूरत है? फिर से अपनी एप्लीकेशन लगाइए और कोर्ट में इस चीज़ को कॉल कीजिए। अब मैं एक सवाल लूँगा जो व्हाट्सएप पे हमारे एक पैट्रन ने भेजा है। इनका नाम है योगेश जी। ये गाजियाबाद से हैं योगेश जी। मुझे लगता है ये फ़ोन स्लो हो गया है, और अगर ये इतना ही स्लो रहा तो मैं व्हाट्सएप के सवाल नहीं ले पाऊँगा। फिर मैं जो भी व्हाट्सएप पे पहले सवाल भेजे जा चुके हैं कल और परसों में, कल और आज में, मैं उनका जवाब ज़रूर आपको व्हाट्सएप के द्वारा कल शाम तक दे दूँगा। The question is, we got married in May 2013. My wife filed DV, divorce and child custody case in November 2019. She is demanding 1 crore in divorce and 50 lakhs in DV. She is a misguided missile. We have 5-year-old son whom I have not met stroke spoken from last 6 months. She is not allowing to call her in court. We are sent for counseling. In counseling, her advocate and counselor herself told her that you should not get divorced, but she did not agree. I have asked court for child visitation, but they asked me to file the revert first. Since the time lockdown is going on, I have 2 questions. One, seeking guidance on getting child custody, how to make a strong reply. Could you please share best available format and any other points to remember? She is studying in TMS Noida. I am paying her fee 70K quarterly. I'll stop here and reply to it. First of all, any reply has to be based on the petition which is presented in court. The formats don't work in that, or any pre-filled reply does not help your cause. A lot of people have asked me in the past also that give me a sample reply. A simple reply would be denying her allegation and putting your own counterpoint. In divorce case, a petition can be replied in 3 manners. One is you reply denying her allegations and don't put any other story. That is a perfect reply. Please understand, even that is a perfect reply. You don't need to explain anything. It is her case to prove. The second kind of reply is that you deny her allegations and you put the truth before the court. You explain the circumstances in which or how her allegations are wrong. Now, some people say that it is a strong reply. However, I don't agree. I have rarely taken this approach. I always say refrain from giving out your own story unless you are seeking a certain relief. There is a third kind of reply. The third kind of reply is where you can make a counterclaim in divorce case using section 23A of Hindu Marriage Act. In this kind of reply, you not only deny her allegation, you put things in perspective and you file your own counter allegations against her and demand that the court should grant divorce on your grounds and not on her grounds. So please understand that this is the only way. These are the only 3 ways of filing a reply, and don't go by any formats. It is very simple. You deny her allegations, you put your case facts if you want to put any facts, and If you want to file a counterclaim, then you should put your own allegations against her with supporting documents. Now, coming to how to get child custody, I believe you are trying to get child visitation in divorce case only, and that is why the court has said that you should file first reply and put an application for child visitation. However, HMA is not the right remedy for getting child custody. If you really want child custody, then you should have gone ahead with the Guardian and Wards Act and filed a specific case for getting the custody of child. The chance in this HMA, if you file child custody case, both the cases get linked. That is your divorce case as well as the child custody case, delaying both the cases. On certain dates, when she has not brought the child, instead of arguing on divorce, you will be arguing on child visitation. On certain date, when maintenance is not paid, you will be arguing on maintenance, and the child custody part and the divorce part will be left aside. So please understand that if you want a certain relief and you want it fast, go ahead and file in appropriate section and in appropriate court. Now, I have to take another question of yours. So I'll take that question. We are living separately. She is living on rented accommodation. I am living in my own flat with my parents. In September 2017, on her demand, we move out from my flat to rented flat. In May 2019, she went to NCW. On our third meeting, she requested NCW to guide me to move to my flat for 6 weeks. After completion of 6 weeks, she filed cases. She is working, she is getting 80,000 per month salary, mine is 1.3 lakhs. In given scenario, is she entitled to any kind of alimony or maintenance? Now, my dear friend Yogesh, in this particular scenario which you have shown, I can infer that the relation between you, your wife, and your parents were not cordial. That is why you had first moved out of that particular flat in which you are staying with your parents and gone to a rented accommodation. I don't know under what circumstances you agreed to bring her back for a testing period of 6 weeks, after which she has filed cases. So, this is something which I tell everybody. Once a woman has left your house hale and hearty, and you are sure that you don't want to live with this particular woman any longer, be firm, be firm, and don't bring her back. If you are not really willing to stay with that particular woman again, and even if you are ready to give second chance, the second chance should be given by you alone and not entangle your parents or other family members with yourself. You should have gone back only to a rented accommodation. So this was a long query, so I have taken slightly more time in explaining this query. However, this query was very important. It had raised two very important points. One was bringing back a particular woman who has filed complaints, and the second was about how to reply to a petition, and that is why I took little time in replying to this. As far as your question about her income and alimony and maintenance is concerned, as the gap of income is not very high, you will be only asked to pay child support, which is, I think, you are already paying as 70,000 rupees per month in school fee. So please continue doing that and go ahead and tell the court that you can only pay that, and rest of the responsibilities of the child shall be taken care by the woman. And if you have any doubt on that, there are judgments on my website which is available, in which such kind of judgments have been passed or orders have been passed by DV courts at various places. You can read them in success stories as well. Please go ahead and utilize all the resources which are available to you to argue your cases. Now I'll take a question from person Sajan Das Patil. Uh, Let me reiterate, I am not taking any more questions from WhatsApp because it takes a long. My phone has gone slow. Either I have to restart it because it is taking a longer time. I am not taking any further questions from WhatsApp. I'll just answer the questions which have come in chat window. To all the WhatsApp people, you will, if your query has not been answered till now, you will get an answer on WhatsApp by tomorrow evening. Please be patient. I am taking a question from a person whose screen name is Sajan Das Patil. In DV section 19, room rent passed by court, but date not given in order from which I have to pay room rent from the date of application or from the date of judgment. I am from Maharashtra. From which date I have to pay room rent? Maintenance order from date of application 5,000 per month to wife and 2,000 per month to son. And in same order, room rent also passed by court, but date not given. Room rent is 2,000 rupees per month. So Sajan Das Patil, I think the court has already decided this, and it has been made clear that you don't have to pay from the date of application. Any order which is passed is enforceable after that, unless it is specified. So the court has not specified that the room rent has to be given from the date of application. So it has to be given from the date of order only. So please go ahead and pay maintenance only from the date of order, or rather room rent from the date of order, and maintenance has been directed by the court. It has to be paid from the date of application. I am taking the next question from Gauri Shukla, Shiva. Gauri Shiva, his question is: working husband traveling one state to another state to contest divorce. If he filed 24 HMA for cost and expenses, how will it delay the proceeding? Rule: post service of notice within 60 days, court have to decide. Gauri Shiva, please understand that there is a word which is that as far as practicable. So when you say that the court has to decide within 60 days or 6 months, there is a line which is written, a phrase which is written as far as practicable. Please understand that it will only delay the proceedings. To the best of my understanding, in domestic violence case, it is written the case should be decided within 60 days. I know of cases which are running for last 10 years. The divorce, Hindu Marriage Act says that the divorce case should be decided within 6 months. I have not seen even a single case which is decided within 6 months. So please understand the word and read the word as far as practicable, which is written in that particular aspect or in that particular place where this time limit is written. मैं अगला सवाल ले रहा हूं. अगला सवाल है दुलीप दामले का. उनका सवाल है: सर, मेरी केस नागपुर कोर्ट्स में है. मैंने पहले डिवोर्स फाइल किया, जिसके 2 महीने बाद मेरी वाइफ ने फॉल्स एलिगेशन लगाते डीवी और आरसीआर फाइल किया है. मुझसे 5 साल का लड़का है जो वाइफ की कस्टडी में है. शैल आई गो फॉर जीडब्ल्यू इन कोर्ट एज आई वांट माय चाइल्ड? आई एम गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट. तो दुलीप जी, अगर आपको बच्चे की कस्टडी चाहिए तो ओनली रिकोर्स और राइट रिकोर्स जो है वो गार्जियन एंड वार्ड एक्ट में ही है. आप गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट हैं तो इसका मतलब आपकी जॉब सिक्योर है. ये एक एडिड एडवांटेज आपको चाइल्ड कस्टडी में मिल सकता है. मिलेगा या नहीं ये मैं नहीं कह सकता, क्योंकि चाइल्ड कस्टडी मात्र और मात्र वेलफेयर ऑफ द चाइल्ड कंसेप्ट पे ही डिसाइड होती है. तो मेरी बेस्ट विशेज आपके साथ हैं. आपको अगर बच्चे की कस्टडी फुल चाहिए तो आपको गार्जियन और वार्ड एक्ट की एप्लीकेशन फाइल कर देनी चाहिए. आई एम टेकिंग अ क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम person whose screen name is Prem M. Hello sir, I have submitted recording between wife and her mother regarding black magic, putting substance given by tantric in my water, food which cause high BP and vomiting to me. I submitted 2 days doctor certificate and abnormal ECG. Also submitted recording of black magic plan by taking under garments of my family, cursing parents and bad intention about me and my family. Court commissioner verified transcript submitted by me in Marathi and approved it. That is the only major proof I have. For what are the chances of getting divorce on these recording proofs? So Prem, I understand that these are only the proofs other than the witness statement which you are going to give, or which your friends or relatives are going to give in your support and against your wife you have. And I think if the recording have been submitted, it has been verified by the court commissioner, and it has also been verified that, or your medical certificate also verifies that your abnormal ECG and certificate or the medical shows that it was just after all these things were administered to you, it will be a cause of grave cruelty against you, and the court will definitely grant you divorce. I have a question in this regard, if you can answer it. Of course, we can take it offline also. When the doctor gave this certificate, did not the doctor refer you to a police station, or did not the doctor call a policeman to his clinic? Because this is a case where you were given a substance which could have made you very ill, and a police case was made out. Anybody who is listening to this and has chance of this thing happening, please ensure that in these cases do get your stomach or intestine water or whatever fluid preserved and tested what are the substance which has been given to you because of which you have fallen sick. And if the case is made out, do file a FIR or a particular case whichever is made out in these situations. I am taking a question from a person by the screen name Junaid Kamran. His question is, why file 498 at 377? I went to PS twice for pre-FIR counseling. I went to PS again to give statement post FIR. I have told me that they can arrest me, but they are not doing. Lawyers suggested not to go for AB as applying AB provokes police needlessly, and nowadays police do not arrest in matrimonial cases unless extraordinary circumstances. Case is in Uttarakhand. Complaint in January 2020. FIR in Feb. Last went to police station before lockdown in March. Let me know if correct approach. So, Junaid, in these circumstances, if you have gone to police station before lockdown, most of the places, most of the high courts had given these directions not to arrest people, and at a certain time after first week of March, they will rather releasing people from prison. The people who are not facing any heinous crimes, the people who are not, who are even convicted of non-heinous crimes, were given parole and furlough. So there could be a good reason that police has not arrested you because of COVID situations. However, I'm sure that your lawyer is the right person to guide you about that particular place. At best, you can seek a second opinion from another advocate, and if the opinions match, then you can lie low. Otherwise, I believe if it was a case in Delhi or Haryana or Punjab, I would have advised you to go for anticipatory bail for sure. Even in UP, I would have advised you to go for anticipatory bail. In Uttarakhand, in Dehradun and Haridwar, I know that arrest in such cases do happen. I am not sure about which district the case is in. It could be a particular SP is not giving permission for arrest in such cases, because there can be various reasons for not arresting a person. I am taking a question from a person Ankit June, and his question is: I filed for divorce in December 2017. My wife filed 498 a package as counter. Thereafter, I filed criminal defamation notice issued to her. Still, she is not withdrawing her case. Is defamation not effective? Uh, Ankit, please understand that she has filed a case and you have filed a case. Whose case is true and whose case is false? It cannot be decided without both the cases getting into trial and evidence led in both the cases. If you think that defamation case is going to be that effective, that by merely filing a defamation case she will be forced to withdraw her case, or she'll come down to her knees and withdraw her case, this is not going to happen. Please understand, every case has its own merits and demerits. Defamation definitely have its merits. However, saying that merely filing a defamation case will bring her to negotiation table is not correct. It is not correct. So, if you have filed a case, please go ahead and pursue that case diligently. It is a criminal defamation case. If she is convicted, she will face imprisonment. And as she has filed 498 a package, if you are convicted, you will also face imprisonment. So it has to be seen who thinks that he is at a strong footing, and only the person who thinks that he is a weak footing will come for negotiation. However, if you think that filing case will bring her to negotiation table, it is not going to happen. Prem M has a question. I think I have answered. Okay, it is a different question. Hi sir, HMA 24 rejected 2 years before. Wife left job during proceeding and again asking for interim maintenance. She was never unemployed in last 8 years. She can get job but not searching. What should I do that she will not get any more interim maintenance? So Prem, if the lady was working for 8 years and now she has quit the job to get maintenance, she has done a great disservice to herself, I must say. Of course, it will put you through certain financial problems. You will have to pay maintenance, or you may have to pay maintenance. In these cases, you have to bring to fore why she has left a job, and also ask the court to ask her to bring what effort she has made to get a job. If she has left a job without any rhyme and reason, the court does not look at it lightly. The court definitely does not grant maintenance to such women who have voluntarily incapacitated themselves. Please understand, the court normally do not grant any maintenance to people who have voluntarily incapacitated themselves from earning. That is your that should be your first argument. The next argument should be what effort she has done to get a job. And only after these things you have argued with strength, the court will is going to decide any maintenance, and whatever maintenance the court is going to decide is not going to be much, considering that she was previously earning. Now there is a question from a person who has a screen name GM, and the question is what to do when lower court has ignored all facts and evidences and has announced 15K interim maintenance and session court is taking months to take judgment on the IN. Now, GM, as your screen name is, first of all, the first fallacy is that any evidences are taken in interim maintenance. Of course, the factual metric has to be presented in the court. The interim maintenance is not based on any evidences, unless those evidences are like which are immutable, like your passport stamp, immigration stamp, or her employment details. So unless these kind of evidences are there, which are irrefutable and immutable, they cannot be changed. The court generally does not consider evidences at the stage of interim maintenance. Uh, in most of the judgments I have seen, the court has also written these are the matters of trial, and evidence has to be led only at a particular stage, and that is why interim maintenance is passed. However, as you are aggrieved by the judgment, you have gone to session court. The only thing you can ask or request session court is to give a judgment in a time-bound manner on the IN and decide the case, and then send it back to the trial court for the case to proceed further. अजय शर्मा has written, सर जल्दी आऊँगा दिल्ली आपसे मिलने. Most welcome अजय जी, आप आइए. Veera J, person with the screen name Veera J has a question. Sir, my wife filed 498 for maintenance. I filed RCR that I need my wife. I am 35 years age. My parents becoming old. Case running for almost 1.5 years. Can I file divorce now? So Veera, I don't know what was the purpose of filing RCR. If it was only to delay the case, which he has filed, then of course it has not served its purpose, because I have also always maintained that restitution of conjugal rights, section 9, घर बसाने का दावा, RCR case, whatever nomenclature you call it, these are waste of the cases. These cases you spend only your time and precious money. You have already lost 1.5 years, which could have been utilized in your divorce case. However, for divorce case, I always say that file divorce case only when you have sufficient grounds of filing divorce. Just do not go ahead and file any case, be it divorce or maintenance or RCR or defamation or any sundry case, merely because you have to file a case. You have to see whether you have enough ammunition to pursue that case, then only you should file it. Filing unsubstantiated cases is not going to help your cause in any manner. I am taking a question from Virender Singh. The question is, my wife is getting 15K, that is in Ganganagar, monthly during probation period in government service, living in class Z city, and I am earning 65 in class X city, Mumbai. No child case in Rajasthan. Can maintenance be denied? Uh, Now, Virender Singh ji, as your wife is currently under probation and getting 15,000 rupees in government job, I am not sure which government job has such low payments as of now. If the government job is going to be a permanent one, as you are staying in a bigger city, the lifestyle and the cost of living in Mumbai is definitely higher. You should argue this point in front of court and try to cut the maintenance as much as possible. Considering city as Ganganagar is the small city which it is, 15,000 should be sufficient. However, considering your income, which is 65,000, which is more than 4 times her income, the court may grant some amount of maintenance. However, you should argue on cost of living, which you have in a city like Mumbai metropolitan. Secondly, I doubt that if she is working in any government service, her salary can be as low as 15,000 rupees. The minimum grade, which I know, is somewhere around, even the minimum wages is somewhere around 18,500 rupees. So the government job cannot certainly pay below minimum wages. You should check on it. I am taking a question from Pavan Atri. My wife filed a false DV case after 1.5 years of leaving my house. How should I quash that fake case? Pavan, merely filing a case after 1.5 years and merely saying that it is a fake case or a false case is not a ground for quashing. Quashing happens on very limited legal grounds, and I don't know whether those legal grounds are made out in your particular case or not. Please understand, we provide advice. However, we cannot provide advice without some facts which has been provided by you. Merely advise that how do I get rid of 498A, how do I get rid of maintenance. We don't have any magic pills or magic wands to give you any solution. If you could have specified any more grounds, I probably would have answered with little more elaboration. However, if the ground is solely that it is 1.5 years since she has left the house and it is a false case, it is not going to get well. We are almost running out of time. It is merely 5 minutes left. So I'll take last two questions, and then rest of the questions we'll have to take next weekend. Of course, this is going to be a weekly affair or bi-weekly affair, Saturday and Sunday, till lockdown is lifted. After that, we have to decide how we'll pursue these YouTube live or will not pursue these YouTube live. So I'm taking a question from there is a person by the name Alcester Mac Nog. I am a Shia Muslim. She has put 125 498. She is not divorcing, so I divorced her as talaq hai ehsan. She put civil injunction 3 years earlier on divorce. Can she challenge this divorce? I have not informed her yet. So, Alcester, as is there, first of all, is there any injunction against divorce? If there is no injunction against divorce, then this talaq is a valid divorce, talaq hai asan. However, if there is a civil injunction against divorce, then you have to go to High Court and get it vacated, and only then this divorce will be enforceable. And unless the divorce is communicated, you have said I have not informed her yet. So unless the divorce is communicated to her, how is talaq al ahsan valid? Actually, it cannot be valid. It is an invalid divorce. I am taking last question. It is from अनिमेश सुंदरियाल. सर, क्या मेरा 498 बेंगलोर ट्रांसफर हो सकता है? मेरा मेंटेनेंस कितना बंद जाएगा? मुझे 498 के लिए क्या तैयारी करनी चाहिए? अभी पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू भी नहीं हुई है फरवरी से. अनिमेश जी, मुझे अगेन फिर जैसा अभी एक पीछे भी सवाल आया था, मुझे इस सवाल में कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया है कि ना तो मुझे ये पता है कि अभी ये केस कहाँ पर है, लड़की कहाँ पर रहती है, आपकी इनकम कितनी है, उसकी इनकम कितनी है, 498 में एलिगेशंस क्या हैं. तो जब तक मुझे इन सब बातों का पता ना हो तो मैं कोई एडवाइस आपको नहीं दे सकता. प्लीज़ थोड़ी सी ब्रीफली अपने केस के फैक्ट्स लिखें, जिसकी वजह से ताकि हम समझ सकें कि आपके केस के फैक्ट्स क्या हैं और उसके बेसिस पे आपको एडवाइस कर सकें. इस तरह के सवाल मुझे अक्सर आते हैं ईमेल पे, व्हाट्सएप पर, इवन फ़ोन पर भी लोग इस तरह के सवाल करते हैं. तो कृपया इस तरह के सवालों का कोई सीधा जवाब नहीं होता है. हम लीगल एडवाइस दे सकते हैं. हमारे पास कोई जादू की छड़ी नहीं है, हमारे पास कोई जादुई ताकतें नहीं हैं, कोई जादुई गोलियां नहीं हैं जिनको देकर हम आपके केसेस से आपकी निजात दिला सकें. तो दोस्तों, आप सब YouTube लाइव में आते हैं, इसके लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबका. सहोदर की हमेशा कोशिश रहती है कि वेरियर्स को अधिक से अधिक चीज़ें मुहैया कराई जाएं, टेम्पलेट्स मुहैया कराए जाएं. तो बहुत से लोगों ने टेम्पलेट्स की गुजारिश की है. तो मेरे पास जितनी भी टेम्पलेट्स होती हैं, या मुझे लगता है कि कोई भी टेम्पलेट अगर किसी भाई के काम आ सकती है, तो जनरली मैं उसे अपनी वेबसाइट पे शेयर कर देता हूँ. हाँ, मैं डिस्चार्ज, क्वैश, डिवोर्स, गार्जियन वार्ड एक्ट, इस तरह के केसेस बनाकर नहीं रख सकता हूँ. वजह यह है कि हर एक आदमी के फैक्ट्स अलग होते हैं और ये सब फैक्ट्स के बेसिस पे ही केसेस को बनाया जाता है. दूसरी बात, हर एक स्टेट के रूल्स HMA के गार्जियन वार्ड एक्ट में थोड़ा फ़र्क है. तो उस बेसिस पे भी ड्राफ्टिंग का काम थोड़ा सा डिफ़िकल्ट होता है, थोड़ा सा हर एक के लिए अलग होता है. तो कृपया इन चीज़ों के ऊपर अपने फैक्ट्स के हिसाब से अपनी एप्लीकेशंस ड्राफ्ट करें. जहाँ तक अपनी पेटिशंस ड्राफ्ट करें. जहाँ तक एप्लीकेशंस की टेम्पलेट्स का सवाल है, वो ज़रूर मेरी वेबसाइट पे है. आने वाले 2 या 3 दिनों में एक और वीडियो मेंटेनेंस और लॉकडाउन के ऊपर मैं YouTube में डालने वाला हूं. साथ ही साथ मैं इसकी 2 या 3 टेम्पलेट्स भी अपनी वेबसाइट पे डालूंगा. तो कृपया आप वेबसाइट पे आइए और YouTube को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए ताकि आप उस YouTube वीडियो को देख सकें और अपना डिफेंस जो है आफ्टर कोविड-19 तैयार कर सकें, लॉकडाउन के बाद अगर आपकी इनकम में कोई परिवर्तन हुआ है. समय बिल्कुल ख़त्म हो चुका है. धन्यवाद. अगर कोई सवाल किसी के रह गए हैं तो कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख के पूछ सकते हैं या अगले हफ्ते आ सकते हैं. इस हफ्ते वेडनेसडे को हम मेंटेनेंस से रिलेटेड अपना 3rd और फाइनल, अभी फ़िलहाल के लिए फाइनल सेशन हम करने वाले हैं. तो कोई भी अगर आपके सवाल हैं तो आप कृपया उसे व्हाट्सएप पर या जो मैं लिंक जनरेट करूँगा उस पर लिख के पूछ सकते हैं. धन्यवाद.